I'm here today to show you a way of doing paper piecing, foundation paper piecing, and a lot of people are kind of nervous or scared about it. There's no reason to be. It's very simple. So the first thing that we're going to do is let's look at our pattern here. This pattern came from a collection, Block of the Month. And sometimes this is fine, and sometimes it's a little easier if you draw it out on paper. So you kind of take the things that are here away from view. This doesn't bother me at all to do this one here. You want to cut your piece up a little bit bigger than your pattern. So if I lay this on here, you'll see that there is a little clean piece of fabric all the way around. A lot of people like to pin it on. I am a glue fan. I like to glue mine on. So I'll just set that on there. And then I don't have to worry about the bulkiness of the pin. But if you like to pin it on, there's no reason why you can't. Okay. So now we have our piece glued on, and we are going to add piece 2. Piece 1 is this piece. Piece 2 is there. You want to fold this fabric back out of the way. So I am using the, hang on, I can't do 3 things at once. I am using the Add a Quarter Plus. I really like this tool because it is tapered on the edge here, so that when I lay this down and I fold my pattern paper on here, I get a nice crisp fold. So the next thing I would want to do is go to my cutting mat, and we're going to cut off. Now let me show you this here. Add a quarter. This is a 1/4 inch space measurement right there. So I can push that up against my pattern, the paper that I folded back, and now I can simply remove that fabric. This next piece, it asked for a 5-inch piece. I'll tell you a little secret. I cut it 6 inches. So at 6 inches, I'm going to cut this one in half, just like this. And now I'm going to add that to where it says piece 2. If you haven't noticed, the construction is done on the back of the pattern. Sometimes that's kind of weird for people. What I want to do now is I'm just going to kind of hold this, and I want to see that I've got everything covered, which I do. So I'll take this to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew right on that paper line. And if you notice, I start outside of this line right here, because you're going to trim to here, and you need to make sure that you have that stitched all the way over there. So I'm just watching that I sew straight on that line. And there we go. Okay, now we would want to press that open, and I think we'll just finger press it. You can also press that with your iron, and you'll notice that everything is covered here. As you can see, I trimmed off some of the extra bulk. It just makes it a little easier for me to handle. Okay, piece number 3, and I am just going to go ahead and let that paper tear there and lift this here, and I'm going to trim again that 1/4 inch seam. I know that feels kind of weird, but you'll see here in just a minute that that'll work. Okay. Again, I don't need so much bulk down here as much as I need it up above. So I'm going to line this up with that 1/4 inch seam that I've just done. I'm going to fold this back out, and we are going to sew this again. Okay, so we are going to stitch right down that line. Past that cut line there, and needle up. And we can finger press this out as well. Okay, so we have fabric all the way around the edges. Now we can do that trim that I was talking about. This would be your 1/4 inch seam when you're putting these blocks together. So I will cut on this 1/4 inch. Just trimming off all of that extra fabric. And the neat thing is that everything, when we flip this over, you'll just see that block, and it just looks so good, and your precision is just fabulous. There's the block. So now, just kind of as a quick review, if you're doing this block of the month, you make sure you cut that first fabric to 5 inches. I think these were my 5-inch pieces. They fit completely over the block, so that you don't have to worry about any of those pieces disappearing or not being in the right place. And the other block was, we oversized this block. It was 6 inches, cutting it on the diagonal. That gave us the extra so that we would have the corners and everything covered. So that is paper piecing, foundation paper piecing. The final stage, you tear off the paper. You don't need that on there anymore. You don't want that in your quilt. So it's real easy. You could do your stitching a little bit closer. Instead of this being at 2.5, you could do it at a 2. But there you go. The paper comes off, and then you have your perfect block.